Hi everyone, welcome to a new video. My name is Isabel Manibardo. I'm a full-time artist from Spain, and in this video we are going to talk about sketchbooks, as you probably have guessed from the title of the video. And I'm going to tell you my favorite sketchbooks. Many people ask me in the comments, in social media, what sketchbooks I use the most, what techniques I use in each one of them. But we are going to see it from a price point of view, from the cheapest one to the most expensive. And that is because I think sketchbooks are a way to feel free with your art, to play, to experiment, to try new techniques, etc., without the pressure of spending a lot of money. So if the sketchbook is very expensive, that purpose disappears, in my opinion. You feel a lot of pressure to do something perfect, something you maybe are going to show later in social media. You don't feel free to experiment, to try new things, to have fun with your art as if you were in a cheaper sketchbook. So we are going to see today 4 sketchbooks. I'm going to tell you about 2 that are cheap and that will allow you to have that freedom of play with your art. And then I'm going to comment 2 other ones that are a little more expensive, not a lot, but those ones you can use if you want to do more complex work, more formal or serious paintings. So let's start with the first one. The first one is the Royal Talents sketchbook. Is this one. As you can see, it's a hardcover sketchbook and it has 80 pages. The color of the pages is not white, it's like ivory or a light yellow. The thickness of the paper is 140 grams. This is like A5, is 13 by 21. But they have another sizes too, and this costs 10 euros. This is not the cheapest in price, but it's the cheapest because it has 80 pages, so in the end it's cheaper than the other one we are going to talk about. I started using this sketchbook very recently, like a month ago, because I have seen many artist friends using it and they were very happy with it. So I decided to try it and I'm really happy with this sketchbook. As you probably know, my main technique is watercolor and I use a lot of water. So I have to think that this holds watercolor very well. Of course, you can use a lot of water, a ton of water, but it really holds watercolor very well. And also other wet techniques like wash, dry techniques like colored pencils, markers, wax pastel, etc. Let me show you some videos. This video is a video I made for my Patreon. Here I'm painting a full spread in this sketchbook based on Cornwall, and as you can see I'm using watercolor and colored pencils, wax pastel, even markers at the end in the title. Talking about watercolor, you can use a ton of water, but it does hold 1 or 2 layers very well, especially if you let them dry between one layer and the next one, and also sets colored pencil very well, even the markers and the wax pastel. And as you can see, it doesn't transfer to the other side of the page, but the paper ripples a little when you use a lot of water. So I will recommend this one if you want a sketchbook that you can use with almost any technique quite well, and also is cheap, so you can feel free of experiment, play with your art, etc. The only downside of this sketchbook is that some people don't like that the paper is not white, it's ivory, like a light yellow. I personally don't mind, but some people don't like that. It isn't also very light, it's a little heavy if you want to carry in your bag for everyday sketching. The next one, it will be the Muji sketchbook. This sketchbook is cheaper in price because it's 60 euros, but is more expensive because it only has 20 pages. The advantage of this is that the paper is white. So if you like whiter paper, maybe you will prefer this. This one also holds very well watercolor and wash and other dry techniques. Let me show you in one video. This is another Patreon video. Here I'm painting birds, fruits, and as you can see, it holds very well multiple layers of watercolor. And you can also add colored pencils, markers, wax pastels, and it doesn't bleed through the other side of the page. And these are some of the paintings I've done in this sketchbook. So, I will recommend this one if you want a cheap sketchbook that you can use for wet and dry techniques and you don't like the ivory paper of the Royal Talents ones and you prefer the white paper of this one. This also have the advantage that it weighs nothing. You can carry it in your bag the whole day. The next one would be the Hahnemühle sketchbook. This is the watercolor book sketchbook. It's hardcover, as you can see. It has 30 pages. The paper is 200 grams. It is white paper and this is watercolor paper. The price is between 12 and 15 euros depending on where you buy it. This is watercolor paper. Even it's not 100% cotton, it's cellulose. You can work really well with watercolor. You can use several layers. You can also work wet on wet. So you have the advantage that you can work on watercolor paper, but as it's not 100% cotton, it's cellulose, the price is much cheaper. This is like 13 euros here in Spain. So you can work in a very good paper, but without spending a lot of money in 100% cotton paper. In fact, Hahnemühle have another sketchbook that it is 100% cotton, but it's like 23 euros. So the difference is big. Let me show you some videos. These are again Patreon videos. Here I'm doing some tutorials for my patrons, and as you can see, you can already work perfectly with many layers, working more wet on wet, getting an amazing result with a very affordable price. And these are some of the paintings I've done in this sketchbook. So this one I will recommend it if you want a better sketchbook with watercolor paper but without spending a lot of money. The final one will be the Stillman & Bird Beta sketchbook. This is soft cover. It has 28 pages. This is like a A5 in size. The paper is super thick, it's 270 grams, and the color of the paper is white. So this is the most expensive. The paper is very good. It has a very white paper that gives you a lot of light in your watercolors. Because of the soft cover, it doesn't weigh a lot, so that is another advantage. Here we have another Patreon videos where I'm using this sketchbook, and as you can see, the final result is very beautiful. You can get really beautiful watercolors with this sketchbook and with this paper. And these are some of the paintings I've done in this sketchbook. So this is a very good sketchbook if you have a little more budget, if you want to spend a little more in your sketch. But for my taste, I think it's too expensive and takes away that freedom to work in your sketchbook, to try new things, play, have fun in your sketchbook. So the final conclusion for me would be: have a cheap sketchbook, an everyday sketchbook, where you can have fun, play, try new things, feel free, work without pressure of doing something perfect every time. And if you have more budget, you can also have another sketchbook a little more expensive if you want to do something more serious, more formal, more complex work. And that would be all for today's video. I hope you enjoy it. Let me know if you like this kind of videos and you want me to do more. Thank you so much for watching, and see you very soon in the next one. Bye!